Right, so hello everyone and welcome back to the PlebPod. It's your favourite podcast back once again, and today I'm hosting it alongside Sid, Lee and Matt. And we're talking about F1 again. And in case you don't know, or if you missed it out, we did a podcast before the season start where we said some worse gibberish and some less worse gibberish.
I'm sorry, what's gibberish?
Gibberish. I don't know, I'm pretty sure that was a word in my head.
Hey, look, man, just go with the flow.
I'll take number one.
It's something. But yeah, I mean, some things actually did happen from what I remember. Obviously, McLaren leading the championship wasn't one of them, Sid. So
No, that was not.
I'm sorry about that. But I feel like one thing that we need to talk about that has been talked about a lot, but still not talked about enough. What is Ferrari doing? And why hasn't no one been fired yet?
I also just quickly before, I just want to say one thing, which is that I understand, without my agreement, that Pepper has said that I'll be part of this podcast today, this evening. This is wrong, and I've not agreed to do this. So I will not be taking part in this podcast, thank you.
Hi Sid, welcome to the podcast. Anyway. Ferrari, one word. It's laughable. They've got a championship winning car, easily the fastest car on the grid, and they're miles off Max Verstappen. Like Max, what is it? Looking at his standing now, he's at the time before the Belgian Grand Prix. He's 80 points clear, if my maths are correct.
It's something like that. I do
It's
remember.
crazy.
More or less.
Like I'm pretty sure they said before they were going for performance and reliability, and their reliability is showing.
Mate, it's not even the reliability that, like, the bear
I agree.
has hit them
continue.
like twice.
Wait, shit, I'm not part of this podcast. Shit. Fine.
Wait, so Leclerc retired from the lead in Spain, but he was winning easily.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was an engine failure. Baku probably could have at least got the podium. Engine failure from the lead at the time. Sainz was an easy 1-2 in Austria.
Mm-hmm.
Blew up from second. France, I think Leclerc was leading. Under pressure, spun. Retired.
Well, can I say with France, like, I don't know if Ferrari told him to say it wasn't like a throttle issue, but like, why would Leclerc like make a mistake like that? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Is it only me who thinks like Ferrari sort of told him, look, can you sort of say it's like your fault? Is it odd saying that?
Ferrari have been known to do that in the past. I mean,
Did it? Sorry.
If you go look at Fuji 76, yes, I know this is a little bit irrelevant to this one, but when Lauda retired with no mechanical issue whatsoever, they're trying to make it up as a mechanical fault.
Sorry, I thought these were two different things. I just want to cut back. I thought Charles Leclerc spun by himself, and he admitted that on the interview.
He did, but Ferrari tried to cover it up.
One sec. No. I'm talking something different. I thought that Charles Leclerc spun on his own, had that incident, whatever, and the throttle issue that they were talking about was that after he crashed into the barrier, even if he went to reverse gear, he put the throttle, nothing happened. It was zero on the trace because the throttle cable snapped. So he couldn't reverse out of the barrier because the throttle cable snapped. I thought that's what was going on. So yeah, the throttle broke, obviously, because he hit a wall straight on.
But it just
Great podcast. We know everything.
Well, it just doesn't explain why it's driver error when it wouldn't allow him to go into reverse, because it makes sense then if the throttle was like slowly jammed on, because like you're saying, he couldn't get into reverse. But I don't know, we're going to be here all day if we keep.
Yeah, I mean,
going
Formula
about
1
France.
cars are impossible to get into reverse anyways.
We have all the other circuits and we're focusing it on France, so...
Anyway, on Ferrari, what the hell was the Hungary strategy?
What the hell was the Hungary?
Well, Hungary was probably the same as Monaco, probably the same as Britain, probably the same as, I don't know, Canada, probably the same as... I mean...
I just really appreciate how, we have the strategies, the soft, medium, medium, the medium, medium, soft, the medium, hard, and then Ferrari come out with this medium, medium, hard, soft, fantastic strategy play. Quite amusing. I could go on a big rant about strategy. I don't know if that's what we want in this podcast.
What Ferrari tend to do is they tend to react, not pull the trigger. They're too reactive.
They're not even doing that right, though.
Yeah. So
if you let me finish, they're just not. They're just too reactive to others. They're just not going like 5-10 laps longer and trying to create their own strategy to go win the race. That's what they could have done.
One of the things I find interesting, when you see a football match or like NFL, whatever, any sport, you look at your team, you're like, they're not changing. They're stuck to plan A. I wish they adapted to work on this attack, to defend, to not concede. With Ferrari, it's like, they adapted this strategy. Oh, it's worse. Oh, it's so much worse.
The thing
it's kind of like, sorry, to continue the analogy, me playing Football Manager and going from like a 4-2-3-1 formation to just pushing a 0-0-5-5 formation. Like, yes, this is a good adaptation because we're not scoring goals.
The thing is, though, like, they saw Alpine, who went on the hard tyres, wasn't working.
No,
so
exactly.
Ferrari decided to go, well, it's not working. We'll try it anyway. Did they not look at what's happening on the track? Are they that focused on themselves? Like, Max was 10th. He won the race. And then, like, what was it? Even the Mercedes, which is, like, easy, like, at least half a second off. Mercedes, because they're actually, I may get a lot of stick for this, but they're a team. They're a good team. And they're managing to get that Mercedes. Like, what? They're only 30 points off Ferrari, and Ferrari easily the fastest car. It's... I don't know.
I mean, Mercedes literally got a double podium in the last 2 races.
Right. Let's play a game, okay? I'm going to read out all of George Russell's results, right?
No, he's
4th,
he's
5th,
been a cheat
3rd, 4th, 5th, 3rd, 5th, 3rd, 4th, retired at Britain, fair. We know what happened. 4th, 3rd, 3rd. Now, can you tell me any race apart from Britain where George Russell did not maximize the points he could get?
No. I can tell you that, no.
Mercedes, at least on the Russell side, have maximized every single point. Now let me read out to you Leclerc.
No.
1st, 2nd, 1st, 6th, 2nd, retired, 4th, retired, 5th, 4th, 1st, retired, 6th. How many of those finishes have they maximized? I could say 3, because they won 3. Let's be fair.
That's it.
I say Miami they maximized, and Jeddah. If you want to be nice, you can give them 5. Right? They got 6th in Imola, because Leclerc decided spinning is great. 4th in Monaco.
Meanwhile, how many is
5th
Max
in Canada.
Verstappen maxed out?
I don't know. Let's count the amount of wins.
Retired 1st, 3rd, 1st, 7th, 2nd, 1st. A lot.
Retired first.
Yep, 19th, 1st, retired. 1st, 3rd, 1st, 7th, 2nd, 1st.
It's winning it legitimately. I'm gonna get to trouble saying that.
It's just.
I mean, I don't need to say anything to point out that both Mercedes and Red Bull are maximizing their opportunities, while Ferrari are not. I've just splurted out there.
Well, Red Bull definitely aren't with Perez.
Yeah, but look, we're talking about drivers right now. Perez is irrelevant at this moment.
I mean, you say that, yet Red Bull are still easily leading the constructors. So even then, like, it doesn't matter.
Your stream's paused, by the way, Pepper. Your face. I want to see you annoyed.
Listen, there's no point. No point in seeing me annoyed.
So, I'm just trying to think now. Like, so we've gone on about Ferrari. Let's talk. Well, we've talked about Red Bull already, haven't we? Vaguely, but we've not talked about Perez.
Yeah.
What do you make of like him? Like since Monaco, he's not really been there or there. I mean, at Baku he was there, but he was sort of told to sort of let Verstappen go free. And since that Baku race, he's not really been there, has he?
No.
Well, not counting Silverstone where he recovered for a late safety car. No, he hasn't been there.
I don't want to talk about the Britain again. He capitalized on Leclerc. Anything you talk about someone's good is just Ferrari's downfall. So yeah. I don't know. I mean, he was really hot at the start of the season. Then the new contract came. And then he's not so hot. So I think the strategy is you don't give Perez a contract. And then he wins races. He did the same with Racing Point. He did the same with Red Bull. So big brain play for the future for Christian Horner.
So this is basically the Sainz syndrome.
He signed the contract to start doing bad.
But like, when you bring it to Sainz, when he was at McLaren, even at like the start of the seasons, he started off slowly, but then as the season progressed, he found his footing. I've noticed that pattern with him, like the past couple of seasons now. So if he actually goes on his performance he is currently now, because he's sort of been on par with Leclerc recently. You know,
Has he though?
I'd say he has, yeah.
Has he though?
Well, I'd say he has.
I would say Britain was a gifted win.
Britain was a gifted win. It was.
Britain was a gifted podium for everyone.
Austria, he was nowhere near Leclerc or Verstappen. France, he was nowhere near.
He had Verstappen covered that race, just the engine went pop.
No, that's fair. He would have got second in Austria. I believe he would have got second.
The Red Bull was nowhere that race.
He wasn't on par with Leclerc though.
No. So
Hungary, he wasn't either.
When I watch races, I have the live timing thing up where I look at lap times. And so Leclerc is roughly 0.3 faster a lap. Every lap, you just look and you see Sainz is 0.2, 1/10, 0.3. Look, Sainz is rarely faster than Leclerc on any lap in the race. It's always Leclerc does the faster lap.
But they always seem to be like there or thereabouts on the track when you compare it to Verstappen and Perez.
Sure.
They're not as close as what the pairing of Sainz and Leclerc. Personally, I think they've got the best driver pairing, Ferrari. But you could argue Mercedes do. But
I mean, Mercedes with the Ferrari car would do a lot better than Ferrari is doing currently. I feel like. And I think, going back to the Ferrari problem, I think as well, if Leclerc learned how to put the foot down and say, what the fuck are you doing? We do not need to do that. Let's do this instead. Could have worked better. And we've seen Sainz do that, both in Britain and Hungary, at least.
I can honestly see Leclerc walking from that team.
I don't see him.
I mean, where is he going to walk to?
Walk to free agency, baby.
Well, I never said end of the season he might not sign another contract with Ferrari. It depends on how 2023 goes.
I mean, he has a contract until the end of 2024, I think.
Yeah. So maybe stay out next season and go from there. But if Ferrari is just an absolute clown show as it is now, next season, I wouldn't want to stay there.
Here is how let me create for you, Charles, like your evaluation chart. Alright? Here's how it's gonna go. You're gonna stay this season. It's gonna be Australia 2023 or Bahrain, whatever, 2023. If you hear the same engineer on the radio in FP1, you resign on the spot.
Abort mission.
Because they did fuck all over the winter.
Abort mission. I mean,
There you go.
if they don't do anything on the summer break, I know Binotto says everything's fine. It's not fine, son. You need to fix your shit. Because it's not fine.
We'll find out about these new regulation changes about something about to do with the floor as well. Is that maybe the reason why Perez hasn't been performing, because they're running a new specification car?
Yeah, there's rumours he's been running a new floor.
But, I don't know. I don't want to spread loads of false accusations, but that's what's been going around. But
Put it this way: if Perez has been running a new spec floor, and Verstappen has to run that floor from Belgium onwards, Mercedes might be looking pretty if they have a legal floor already.
I just don't think they do. Every time it goes to a straight line speed track, Mercedes are almost like a second off in qualifying. What one of their strengths used to be is now one of their weakness.
Now, I was looking at the power unit regulations. Obviously, they freeze them this season. The engine, combustion side of things, they were frozen in March. The MG UK and stuff, they actually get frozen on the 1st of September, apparently. So they could still bring a late update.
At Spa. That's the only update chance.
Pretty much at Spa, just after.
Imagine if the update doesn't work, though.
L.
Well, you're stuck with it for 3 years.
That'd be a big fat F.
The budget cap, though.
You better... Sorry. If that upgrade doesn't work, you better take a piece of paper from the F1 2021 AI and go flat out everywhere. That will help you a lot.
The only way you're making changes is if the FIA granted for reliability, and reliability only.
That's
or if you change engine supplier from teams, and you've got to do what McLaren did with the chassis.
Yeah.
Stuff little things like that.
What were you saying, Matt?
I'm just thinking of now we'll have the budget cap now. Will we see teams willing to run a low drag downforce setup now? No, now with the budget cap having a lot more of effects on cars now. Do you think we'll see any thin, skinny wings for Spa, Monza?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like the wings are not that expensive compared to the 185 or whatever ridiculous million budget cap. Therefore, or if you can look at it this way, they already have done the R&D work for it. All they need to do is produce it. So they either produce a skinny wing or the normal wing. That's just a choice, right?
Yeah.
They don't need to really put money into figuring out how the skinny wings work. They already know.
That might be a cameo from a bike that went past.
Now,
So it's the same cost anyways. Sorry, continue.
I do want... We were talking about, calamities and disasters and big fat Fs. I think we can all agree the biggest and latest big fat F has been to Alpine, who in the last week have done an amazing job of clownery.
The clue's on Lee's head.
Yes.
Which honestly almost
This guy.
rival Ferrari this season. What is going on there?
Right. So as of recording this, we haven't got a fucking clue what's happening.
No.
So for all we know, on a Friday an announcement could be made, but from
It
the
won't.
sound of things,
I think-
they're a deadline to announce Piastri, was it not? And then the next day they said they were announcing him, and then Piastri pretty much went, "What are you talking about?"
Mate, it's the...
I just want to point out one thing, right? They put out a tweet announcing Piastri's announcement before telling Piastri he's driving for Alpine. For Piastri to then come back to put a tweet back to tell them he's not driving for Alpine.
This smells exactly like the Palou Ganassi McLaren situation in IndyCar.
Oh yeah, and speaking of which,
This is exactly the same.
Pepper said McLaren's not really the World Championship, but I tell you what, McLaren's really the World Championship for the first team to get suited this year. Twice.
And the best part is...
Big win.
The best part is, the one driver, since said would be winning, is probably the one walking out the door as well.
Deserved. Get out.
So, I don't know. That's a mess. I mean... Obviously, this all started with Vettel coming out of Aston Martin.
Yep.
Alonso's jumped ship without saying anything to anyone. Just, you know what? I want to go there. No clues in the world. And Alpina's like, well, shit, what now? Do we have any drivers?
I think he's supposed to have met with Otmar Zaf now over the Hungarian weekend, or thereabouts. About the seat. Or might even be Lawrence Stroll. But either way, there's someone high up in Aston Martin I'm sure he's had a word with at the Hungarian Grand Prix. And then, obviously what's conspired on track, I think it was just swung that decision. For Alonso to go to Aston.
Well, my crack.
Don't bring it to this conversation, Matt. Come on. Be professional.
What? That's the name of Aston Martin.
No, I mean...
How can you take that team seriously when you've got a name like that?
Mate, I still take them more seriously than fucking Alpine at the moment.
Oh, to be
Or
fair.
Ferrari.
They're a bloody mess. Oh, Ferrari.
Alpine.
No, because the thing is, I've read on Twitter, which apparently is the newest source of information and misinformation at the same time for F1, that Alonso had talks with Aston Martin throughout the season, and they were waiting on Vettel's decision to make anything. But the fact that Alpine, to their credit, I guess they were kind of put on the spot with Alonso leaving all of a sudden. But, like, to just fucking fabricate this contract that didn't exist, put it out to the world, and have their own reserve and academy driver bust them open like that.
Bye-bye.
That doesn't look good.
The way I saw the situation there was, obviously, Alonso's gone. Alpine were only willing to give him a 1-year deal. Alonso wanted at least 2. I think Aston Martin's given them at least 2 or 3-year deal.
I think it was 2 year.
Yeah, they only said multi-year, but you can interpret that what you want.
I think it was 2+1, but 2 year.
2-year, 1 extension.
However, to be fair, apparently there's a clause on Alonso's contract at Aston Martin that says if he's not happy with the progress, he can leave at any time. So 2023 FP2 Australia Hulkenberg will be in that car. So just be ready for that.
Right, okay. Shall we look where Hulkenberg is in the standings? Yes,
But-
last.
Why so late?
Isn't he ahead of
Why
Latifi though?
No, let's go Tiffy's in 20th.
Why not? Halfway through FP1, Alonso's like, nah, look, I'm done. Hulkenberg, it's yours, man.
Aston Martin is just going to have Hulkenberg there on the weekend, just to make sure.
Alonso will be like, okay, we're going to spin this wheel today if I'm taking part in this session. There is 3 no's and 1 yes.
Yeah.
But I think the car's fixed pretty much for like the following seasons because there's like these regs. Am I wrong?
I mean, go on.
I don't know. They said they were focusing on 2023 already for a long time. I don't know what that means. I mean, Ferrari said the same, and to their credit, they did create a
Got the
good
car.
And so did Red Bull.
Their box with wheels is very good box.
Yeah. Yeah. The engineers, not so much.
No, the engineers made the box. The
strategists,
not
sorry.
so much.
Yeah. Yeah, the strategies.
Right. We've talked about Red Bull, Ferrari, and Alpine. What about Mercedes? How they started off the season? They're porpoising to the point where Hamilton literally couldn't like physically move at one point. Can we just see how much their cars improved during the season now they fixed the porpoising?
Yeah, but
I think Hamilton couldn't
from
move.
a bouncy castle to a smooth car.
Oh, who'd have thought? That is also to do with the slight reg change. Mid-season changes, right, to reduce porpoising, which came out at Canada? Question mark.
I think so.
They correct me. New rules came out Canada, which just reduced the porpoising slightly, helping all teams.
I think they enforced ride height changes as well, which sort of helped. And it kind of feels like 2013 Pirelli tire changes because some teams weren't being able to fix their own shit, so they need FIA to come in. Kind of sus. Kind of sus.
No, the Pirelli thing, that was just a tire construction fault.
Wasn't that in 2013 Force India were a decent team, then since the Pirelli tyre change came in they were...
And Red Bull was shit on the tyres, and then they suddenly were godlike, with Vettel winning 9 races in a row at the end of the season. It was a little bit sus. I mean...
I must say that the porpoising issue is a little bit more of a safety issue.
No, yeah.
The tyre issue can be debated, I think, because it's like, there wasn't really a need for it. But the porpoising was bad. The porpoising was very bad.
The thing is, though, I totally agree the porpoising is bad, and if it's raising safety issues, very well. But if some teams aren't having that issue, I mean, then it's something you did that's not quite right, and you are putting your drivers at risk, so you should fix it. Because the others have.
But then the problem they have now is the budget cap to fix the issue. Now that's maybe why FIA have allowed them to sort of fix the issue. Otherwise they would go with the budget cap.
It sounds
sort of like ifs.
It sounds to me like their problem.
Use your budget wisely to make a good car.
Oh dear.
Which team were we on about? We were on about Mercedes.
Yeah,
correct. There we go. I must say, I really liked their design when they came out in testing with that no side pod. That was really aggressive. No, I don't care about the aesthetics. I don't care about the aesthetics.
I know.
I'm not that guy. I just liked how it was completely different to everything else. And I'm glad it's working. Because now the top 3 cars are 3 completely different style cars.
I mean, you said it's totally worked. I mean, it worked like half a season in.
Hey.
It's a bit late to start working.
Yeah, it's working though.
I mean, even they're not sure it fully works, but it's a hell of a lot better than it started.
I'm just going to say, I mean, if we're going to have like Formula Ford cars from next season onward, I'm going to be very upset. Because those things don't have side pods almost either. Like, it just doesn't look right.
Side pods overrated.
But another thing that doesn't look right, despite being the only non-top 3 team to have a podium, is McLaren. They're always going up and down, and Norris is carrying that team because Ricciardo clearly hasn't managed to find his groove.
Shall we play a game of saying Ricciardo's results?
Do you want to? Does he want to?
Has he ever beaten his teammate? Hang on, quick stat check.
I don't think
no.
So.
He's lost it.
He did in Baku, did he not?
Did he?
So he did, because they prioritised him in the race for that change.
Maybe. Hang on. I should not look at the constructors. He did beat him at Baku. You are right.
Was it the only time?
You could tell those tensions there because Norris wasn't allowed to overtake.
Technically, Ricciardo beat Norris in Bahrain. That happened.
Yeah, but they were fighting for like 16th.
And
Baku. Nowhere. It was absolutely nowhere in Bahrain. They went completely wrong setup wise, apparently.
Yeah, no, that was.
And then Jeddah was waiting on the points. I think.
Norris got points.
They've been very up and down. Like, they got a podium out of nowhere in Imola, which was just weird.
I blame Leclerc, but anyways, we move on.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, the weather had something to do with it as well.
True.
They're just disappointing again. Look, like new regs, you thought, oh, okay, they might be doing similar to what like Ferrari are doing. You know, Ferrari were sort of in a similar position as McLaren last season.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. They have a really nice facility. They seem to have quite a biggish team, and
they have
still,
two arguably great drivers as well.
Yeah. I don't know if the car's been purely designed for Lando and then Ricciardo's have to adapt all the time, because ever since Ricciardo left Red Bull, he's not really been the Danny Rick we know. So
no, absolutely not.
I sort of feel for him in a way, but at the same time, he's had like a year and a half, and I guarantee Ricciardo's not really a cheap driver to sort of have in the team as well. Like, yeah, okay, he gives good sort of, what do you call it? Is it advertising? What do you call it? Marketing, because like in Australia he's quite a popular driver. So when you have the signs of trying to push him out the team and rumours of Piastri joining, it might damage the reputation of McLaren a lot. So,
I mean, rumour has it it's going to cost McLaren 21 million to get rid of Ricciardo. That's not going to be a funny hit for them either. And
that McLaren in some financial woe, last time I heard as well. They keep trying to get like money boosted in from there.
Yeah.
That's okay. Bahrain's got them sorted. Don't worry. There'll be more coming soon.
Alright.
Well,
you don't know Bahrain owns the McLaren.
I think this is why the budget cap was brought in, so they could bring all that spending under control.
Yeah.
And stop like random investments of like 200 million.
I don't know.
I mean, sounds like a McLaren loss to me. They really messed up. I'm not gonna lie. They looked so good at Spain. Remember that time when they rocked up in Spain and they topped the timesheets? Those were simple times.
Oh yeah, Spain 1998, right?
Yeah.
Bring back
Sorry,
the old
what were you
Spain.
thinking about?
Jesus Christ.
In the rumours for next season for Spain, by the way, talking of Spain, that they're going to get rid of the chicane and just use the high speed, the right hander, miss out the chicane at the end.
I've heard that.
I haven't heard anyone reputable talk about it.
I still think they would be better off switching it for put him out. And I'm not even trying to be biased here.
Agree.
But I genuinely think the track is better than Catalonia.
Oh, yeah.
Agree.
Well, the track has better character at least. There's at least that, you know?
I mean, the last Portuguese driver in F1 did questionable things, did they not?
No, he got a podium. In a questionable race, but he got a podium.
Didn't do a questionable thing. He didn't do a questionable thing.
He was in a questionable thing. Two different things.
Anyway, we move on.
We talked about McLaren.
Yeah.
I guess next is Alfa Romeo in the constructors.
Probably.
Unless people want to rant about McLaren a bit more. Hey, you know.
Nah.
I love rants.
Let's talk about Sid's second favourite driver nowadays.
Why second? Wait, where's my favorite driver gone?
Valtteri Bottas.
Doesn't exist at this point.
No, Valtteri's always my favorite. Nah, it's done. Nah. Doesn't work like that.
Well, I think we're all very hyped to see Alfa and Bottas like P4 in the first race of the season.
6.
Something like that. No, in qualifying he was like fighting for top 4 or something ridiculous like that. And then it just dropped off. Like,
I mean,
they dropped off because apparently they're having like some issues supplying parts or something. They were running limited on parts, and since they had the confirmation that they could sort of push a bit more because they had more parts spare, they've been there or thereabouts again. But like, I'm going to start up with Alfa Romeo. Sorry, Sid. That Zhou Guanyu's been the most unlucky driver this season.
I can probably agree with that. Yeah.
Because like he's been in good positions and the car's had a mechanical issue. That's been their main flaw in pre-season, and it's shown in the races. But it's nice to know that they're actually there or thereabouts. I mean, Bottas, because now he's not got the added pressure of a top team, he's sort of showing what he can do again, which is nice to see. But
he's still not very good at overtaking. I'm sorry, but there's still some questionable things that we've seen Bottas do in these races.
Turn on Hungary 21. What?
But no, Zoe has been really impressive, I feel like. Everyone was giving him shit last season when he got announced. And yeah, obviously everyone would have preferred to see Piastri there. With a certain reason behind it, but
that was never going to happen.
No. However, they did predict back then when Ricciardo was sick with COVID that Piastri might drive for McLaren. Well, may Alpine have regretted suggesting that idea nowadays.
Right. Piastri's had some sort of contract, I think, with McLaren since the start of the season. Because originally Alpine was saying that they were obviously just going to loan him as a reserve, if needed for COVID reasons.
Yeah.
But that's since developed into what Mark Webber's claiming is like a pre-contract agreement. And obviously, yeah, we talked about it before, Alpine put this announcement out. That's because Piastri's, what was it, his academy status? That contract runs out end of the season. So he either gets promoted or he jumps ship. And by the sounds of it, it looks like he's just going to jump ship to McLaren and Ricciardo is going to get a huge payoff. Or whether Ricciardo goes to Alpine, which has been rumoured as well.
It could happen. I could see that happen.
And Otmar Safnauer he hasn't denied it.
I mean, according to them, I think there's a list of 4 drivers that they have on their final list.
And I gather one of them is not Hulkenberg.
Well, you know, Aston Martin might have a list of 4. McLaren have a list of 75. So they really need to up their game.
McLaren could literally make 3 football teams with all the drivers. They got fucking rumoured to be on that spot.
But going back to Alfa Romeo there, you got Joe, however you pronounce it.
Zoe.
Yeah. He has been so many positions where he could have at the very least challenged for at least a point, and the cars let him down. Silverstone we'll never know. I think he did qualify top 10 that race.
I think so.
Before he got literally murdered into the grandstands, nearly.
I'm sure
that crash though. Yes, I was there. I saw it on the monitors. It was lucky, very lucky he survived that.
Another survival thanks to the halo, though.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
One thing that wasn't discussed at that race was the climate protesters, or was it something to do with?
Don't give them that spotlight, Lee, for fuck's sake. Nah, never happened.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So it was something to do with the oil.
I'm sorry.
You say oil?
Wasn't Zoe, by the way, also an Alpine Academy driver?
Yes.
So
I think he was released.
What was the last Alpine Academy driver to actually go into their team?
Potentially Ocon?
No, Ocon was Mercedes.
Yeah, Ocon was Mercedes Academy.
Oh no, he was loaned to Renault.
Was Palmer in F2 to promote to?
He wasn't part of the academy though. I don't think he was. If someone can double check.
Didn't he have the livery of like the Renault at the time in F2? Who else was there? Not Grosjean. Grosjean?
Wasn't Petrol?
Was Grosjean who was in F2 part of their academy and then got promoted to the C?
Grosjean did.
And then got fired.
Grosjean promoted, fired, sent back, and promoted by Lotus.
So, the Alpine strategy for their academy is, you're shit, you're in. You're good, you don't get a spot. Wait, where are you going? No, wait!
But if you Davide Valsecchi, you win the GP2 title and then go and get a commentary role without even consider for an F1 seat.
But this is my thing with F2. I know I'm sorry if I'm going off topic. When was the last time someone won like the F2 Championship, bar Leclerc, get into F1? Like Nick De Vries.
Russell,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, there was Russell on there. But Nick De Vries was a decent driver. Didn't he like dominate it?
Yeah, but he dominated against Nicholas Latifi.
Still, he dominated
you have Russell
Yeah,
get
but
in
Latifi got into F1. When you
go
think
to
about it.
Yeah.
You had
But
Russell winning in 2018,
Muddy?
then you had Mick Schumacher winning in 2020.
True.
They got in F1.
True, fair enough.
Mick Schumacher did win again. That's fair.
How many years was he in F2 though?
2?
2.
Was it?
He's second year wonder, as always. You know. We'll get to Mick a bit later. We're going. I just want to quickly talk about Zhou Guanyu and Alfa Romeo, because I've been obviously following the team a bit closer. Because the best driver on the grid races for Alfa Romeo, like obviously.
Oh
I
yeah,
have to follow
Robert
it.
Kubica.
See, thank you. So with Zhou Guanyu, right? At Bahrain, we got into qualifying. You know, a fantastic day. Bottas has a 31.7 in Q2, and here we have Zhou Guanyu with a 33.5, and his best lap in Q1 was a 32.4. And here I'm wondering, why is he getting this praise? Because he was the second off. Because, you know, we give hate to those kind of drivers in the past. We get into Jeddah, it's like 5 tenths, 4 tenths, you know, that's more acceptable. Australia is 6 tenths. We get into Imola, and the gap is, you know, maybe was it wet quali? Someone correct me.
It was,
but
yeah.
Zhou was a second off again. So at this point, I'm thinking, what's going on with Zhou? Then, was it Canada? Canada happens. I'm going to say it was Canada. Where he gets into Q3 in the Alfa Romeo and Bottas doesn't. That was the first race where I went, oh, hang on. Hang on a minute. You can drive a car. Because with Zhou Guanyu, with F2, it was quite clear he can race. He's a solid racer. He knows when to take the risk at the right time, which is perfect for a midfield team, because he's not going to go crazy and go for a move that's like 50-50 and cause damage. So he's a little bit cautious too, but he's a little bit more aggressive than Bottas. You know, it's great. His lap times in qualifying were super worrying, though. To have that much race space and not being able to do it in qualifying wasn't great. But now, he's fixed that issue. And if we look at just Hungary, for example, Bottas got into Q3. Zhou got knocked out in Q2. The lap time difference, 1/10 of a second. Like, that is what I expect from a Formula 1 driver on the Formula 1 grid. And I'm really glad that Zhou's been able to bring those performances closer. It's a shame that for the last 3 races, Alfa Romeo finished outside the points. However, let's look at the bright side. Zhou is improving.
I don't understand what you have against people who have good race pace and not good quality pace.
I don't know. I've suffered through this for so many years. It's a pain. It's a pain.
No, I mean, let's just hope they don't drop further backwards for the rest of the season, I guess. Because, I mean, it's good to have the grid bunched up. And, yeah, Zhou has been a fairly decent surprise in the last few races. So, hopefully, they can keep that up. And another very confusing team has been Haas.
I get it. I get the joke.
Didn't even mean to, but like, what is happening? Like, they started off, they seem, obviously, all Ferrari-powered cars in Bahrain look like bloody rockets. Ferrari, Haas, Alfa Romeo, I think all of them got a car into Q3, at least. And then there's just Jeddah came along, and they slowly went backwards. And in Australia, they went further backwards. And obviously, there was all that Schumacher talk, who still hadn't gotten points. And obviously, people started comparing him to Magnussen, and, you know, maybe he's not that good. He crushed Mazepin, but then again, Mazepin wasn't that great of a driver to begin with. But But now they're sort of.
How dare
getting
you
back to it.
criticise Lord Mazepin? Sorry, Mazepin.
Mate, it's simple. He has the driving ability of a cucumber.
I got a
Cucumber
really
John?
important question.
Not rain coffee kind.
I got a really important question.
Right.
V calls Mazepin Mazepin, but Mick Schumacher cost the team more in damages. So what name do we have for Schumacher?
Schumacher crashing?
Worst name I've ever heard.
Right. So Schumacher
but-
crashing now matches Magnussen, is your say.
I mean, he's definitely been evolving in the last few races. Obviously, Austria was an amazing weekend for him because he showed some decent raw pace there, and then kind of fallen off again. So Dakar has been a mess overall.
I'll let Matt speak first before I make my point.
On the topic of Haas, there's been times Magnussen's been like P5, P6, and he's been unfortunate with damage he's had to box, and it's completely messed up their strategy. It's happened on like at least 3 races. I swear it happened in France, Canada. It happened somewhere else as well. Was it Silverstone as well, or was it Spain?
It happened in Spain when him and Hamilton came to blows. That also cost Hamilton, we'll call him a total wolf, a potential win on the pace he had.
No.
Probably
I
cost him.
see the pace, Toto. You shut up. You don't mess with me.
It probably cost him a podium.
The Haas problem, I think, is quite simple. Is the fact that the people they have working in Haas, they're quite smart. They know how to build a good car. The problem with Haas is they don't have enough people. And so, or the budget. I don't know even if they're maxing out their budget cap. I don't know what the situation is. Because
the other problem with Haas is they've got like, what, 2 or 3 bases now? They've got the main one over in America, I think in Charlotte or whatever it is. Bought I think it was the
Mana
Marussia factory years ago for a European base, and now they've got some sort of design office in Italy, so they can go and trace Ferrari's parts. Pretty much.
What are you cooking over there?
That Lead Spygate-esque.
They have some sort of design office in Italy, with the connections with Ferrari. So they've got offices all over the bloody place. What they need to do is just merge it all into one. Get all the personnel there, and they might actually have a decent chance, in my opinion. Instead of having to filter information all over the globe and build it everywhere and anywhere and everywhere. Why is that?
I must also quickly say, is an issue that I see with Haas quite often is you look at the weekend, you're like, oh, Ferrari have brought in 3 upgrades. Oh, here's Mercedes with their big 4-part upgrade, the usual way. How many upgrades does Haas bring in there? Oh, is that 1? Sorry,
Yeah,
I couldn't see that.
You have to remember that Haas is bankrolled by Gene Haas, who has a massive, it's a multinational tool corporation or whatever.
Yeah.
They have very little sponsors.
Yeah. Which is what I'm trying to get into. I don't know if they're maxing out their budget cap, because I think their cap is lower than the budget cap. So they have the people that are smart enough to design the car. They even have the strategists that are good enough to give them decent strategies. They just don't have the money or the people to keep the car at the same level it starts off at.
Yeah, they are a
They
small
will
team.
always taper off. And that's been a sign since 2016. If you remember 2016, they started off Australia so hot. They had like 3 points finishes in the first 4 races, and then like maybe 2 for the rest of the season.
Can
Did
I'm a
Lara
s-
build that car?
Point remains though.
Can I just say, like, their repair bills, like incident bills, must be high as out. The amount of crashes, like Grosjean, Magnussen Grosjean in Bahrain 2020, pretty much had to build a
Schumacher
new
last
car.
year. as well.
Schumacher this
Mazepin.
year as well. Well, Mazepin wasn't as bad as Schumacher in terms of like the crashes. Mazepin just spun. When Schumacher crashed, he crashed.
True.
I would say if you're going to crash out about at least once is acceptable for last season was his rookie season, but keep continually doing it, it is bringing a high damage bill. And this is why they question whether to keep him on for 2023.
They're still yet to renew his contract at the time of this podcast.
Yeah. There's a rumour that he's gone.
I swear, Formula 1, if you bring out all your news on the Friday...
We're going to be very upset.
But, like, whilst we're on the word of Haas, I don't think anyone's thought about this. If Schumacher was to not continue with the team, who would replace him?
I had no idea. I have no idea.
Dragovic?
That's a shout, to be fair, Dragovic.
I think Dragovic would be a perfect replacement.
Who's the other one who's building up the ranks in F2 at the moment?
Sorry, quickly, go back. Alpine, right? We talked about their issues. We didn't actually talk about the driver that might fill in that little seat that's left free. Does anybody have?
To be fair, I was going for... Well, obviously we talked about the possibility of Ricciardo doing it.
Yep.
But my second guess would be the team we're going to talk about next.
AlphaTauri.
Which is Gasly.
Yes. And I've been saying this for a couple of years.
French driver on a French
I'll let
team.
you speak and I'll say my objection.
Contract.
French driver on the French team. AlphaTauri is more than 60 points behind Alpine. And apparently Gasly also has a very funny clause which says if he is approached by a team above them in their standings, he is free to go.
Are you done? I want to raise 1 point.
Right, go on.
Gasly is French. Yes. Gasly wants good car. Yes. However, Ocon and Gasly do not get along.
Does Ocon get along with anyone?
No, but this was discussed on the Beyond the Grid podcast and other interviews, other discussions. You know, they have respect for each other, but they can never talk racing with each other ever again. That's what I don't know which driver is the one that spoke out more. Ocon, Gasly. I think Gasly spoke up more, is what Gasly said. I'm sorry, Gasly. I just said you said it now. You're gonna deal with it. 50-50 chance. So, my only concern, if I was Alpine team boss, is like, yeah, Gasly's great, but these two drivers are not gonna get along. I can't be asked. I'm not here to take care of two little kids, you know.
Get rid of Ocon.
You know, genius. I agree with that. All in favor? I propose a different driver for Alpine. I propose Théo Pourchaire.
That is a good shout. He's been performing well in F2.
And what academy product is it?
I think it's Ferrari, isn't it?
I think
Perfect.
So.
Would that make sense to go to Haas?
But I mean, Pourchaire is French. He ticks the French box that Alpine are looking for. He's talented, he's young, he's got potential. If I was Alpine, I would be looking at Pourchaire and being like, come on, man. You know? Forget what Piastri said. Right? Let's put this behind us. Don't listen to what Piastri's been telling you in the F2 paddock. Right? Just I'll give you a quick FP1 session. How about that?
Yeah, Porsche is definitely with the Ferrari Academy. He's tested with Alfa Romeo already this season.
So did Raghunathan, you know, but is Raghunathan part of the Ferrari Academy? No, he's part of the GOAT Academy, which is very different.
Or he might just be part of the Alfa Romeo Academy, because I know they do have a separate one.
Yeah, I think he is, actually.
So
it's one of the two.
While going back to AlphaTauri, disappointing season for them so far, and then you have, personally, improved driver of the season, Yuki Tsunoda. He's sort of been on par with Gasly, have you noticed recently? He's sort of actually been performing better than Gasly recently.
I mean, maybe, but it's kind of hard to notice when they're nowhere near.
Don't know, their results have been so inconsistent.
It's hard to see if Yuki's performing better or not with the results I'm looking here. So, wait, quick. Baku, Gasly 5th, Yuki 13th. You guys are going to have to remind me of the extenuating circumstances. I don't remember.
Baku, with Baku. Was that
One
Baku
sec,
you
one sec.
just said?
Yeah, let me just go through the list and then you can
They haven't scored points since Baku.
And then Canada was 14th for Gasly, retired for Tsunoda, then retired for Gasly, and then 14th for Tsunoda, then 15th for Gasly, 16th for Tsunoda. Actually, that was okay. I think I slightly remember that. 12th for Pierre, and then retired for Yuki. 12th for Pierre and 19th for Yuki in the last race.
With Baku, he had a DRS failure, didn't he? His rear wing broke.
Yeah, they were double points.
I'll believe you.
The tape.
They were.
Rear wing.
I just went, yep, that's fine, go. Put flex tape on it, it's fine, go.
Yeah.
Silverstone, did they crash? Sorry.
They collided together, yeah, didn't they?
Is that why Pierre retired?
Possibly to side pod damage,
maybe.
might damage the radiator, you never know.
Well, if you look at those last 4 races, Yuki killed his teammate, then finished behind his teammate 2 of the other times and retired the other time.
I think I have a photograph of one of the damaged Alpha Tauris. I'm not quite sure if it's part of the original Turn 1 mayhem. I don't know if one of them got damaged in that, or if it was because of that collision.
However,
one of the two.
I just want to quickly, while you look, however, results don't say everything. I think Yuki is a much better driver right now than he was this time last year. And he's improving, he's evolving, which is always good to see. I hope he keeps on improving. I don't wonder what his quality performance is like, but...
His moment at Canada, though. When he came out of the pit lane and crashed.
I mean, to be fair, you got the drivers on the podium mentioning how dangerous that was in those conditions because it was really bumpy on the pit exit, coming back into the track and whatnot. I still think he's making way too many mistakes. They're not like budget crippling mistakes like Schumacher's, but he's making too many mistakes still, I feel like. He may be getting slightly quicker, sure, but I still feel like he's doing too many mistakes. And honestly, if for some reason Gasly does leave for Alpine, AlphaTauri are going to have a big issue on their hands. Cause
who do we get?
I don't know who they're going to put on that second car.
Lawson. Liam Lawson, probably. But then we get into the Super Formula...
Who?
Who did you say?
Albon, still a Red Bull driver, just currently on loan at Williams.
He's been signed at Williams, so
yeah.
they need to prize that contract away from him.
Yeah. Sorry, quick look at F2 standings.
What about Daruvala, Sid?
I mean, you don't want Daruvala in F1. You don't want that. No.
I mean, there is a certain Estonian driver, which I will not mention.
No, the Estonian's banned.
No, he's not getting into it.
Yeah, but he got his F1 stuff taken away from him. But I believe he's still part of the program. Which is weird.
Nope.
I've just realised Enzo
so.
Fittipaldi is also an option because he's currently 4th in the standings.
Wait, is he Red Bull though?
No.
Right.
Okay.
But
I was going to say.
He's an option for Haas, I mean, because I'm sure.
Fair enough, yeah.
The market keeps going.
Let's have a look at who's on the Red Bull Junior team.
I'm surprised no one's going for Logan Sargent.
He's going for Williams.
But he's not signed yet.
He's not signed yet. But
okay. In any way, shape, form. I don't think he's close.
I think he's going to replace Latifi.
Who's Iwasa?
He's a Japanese guy, first season in F2.
Red Bull?
Yes.
Apparently he's Red Bull. He's a Red Bull Junior, but
he's not ready. He's not ready.
Dennis Hauger's a Red Bull, but yeah, he's
not ready.
He's inconsistent at the minute. He has won the F3 Championship, the Italian F4, so he might be a candidate maybe come 2024. He has a great season next year.
The only driver that I think is polished... Oh, I've got all the exclamation marks, Jesus Christ. That's only polished enough to race in Formula 1 is Liam Lawson.
Yeah.
And Logan Sargent. You know, that might be an opportunity for Red Bull
Logan
to
Sargent's not
snap.
Red Bull.
Yeah, but it's an opportunity to snap him. It's from Williams. Just put a little cash in there, and Logan Sargent's yours. You can drag anyone out of Williams.
Right.
No,
Sad, but it's true. At this point.
interestingly, it does state the Estonian driver, who I will still not name, is apparently still part of the Red Bull Junior team.
Regardless.
Regardless, he isn't getting an F1.
No.
After what happened.
Yes.
We believe, are we nearing the time limit on this podcast? Are we not? And we have 2 more teams to go through.
Well, good thing
we can recap.
they haven't really done much
Yeah.
this season.
Speedrun for the last 2 teams. Oh look, Aston Martin. Is that Sebastian Vettel scoring points? Wow. Okay, next.
Is that Stroll being an absolute waste of space? Yes.
Let's not forget the time that him and Latifi crashed in Australia.
Alba doing some good work in the Williams. That Australia strategy. Love it.
That was beautiful.
Love it, love it.
They also got lucky in Miami as well.
I don't remember what happened, but I'm sure there was a bit of luck. I remember.
I think it was a late race safety
points.
car, wasn't it?
Possibly.
I honestly don't remember.
I can't remember Miami. I remember it being quite boring.
Point being, they got 3 points. Solid 3 points. That's more than their car deserves. So, be happy. Take your compensation pay for existing.
So, I don't know, should we end it on so far, currently on the season, on like who would you say has been like the most disappointing team this season so far?
Ooh.
Most disappointing team.
Hello, Ferrari. How you doing? No, honestly, I think the strategy team of Ferrari is what is letting them down because they built a really solid car, even if they had a few engine issues and whatnot. So I think after last season, I kind of hoped Williams would be a little bit closer to the pack. And AlphaTauri have been shocking as well, but definitely wanted to see Williams further up a little bit more.
So Williams is your most disappointing team this season, Pepper?
From a global standpoint, I'd say, yeah.
Right. Lee, who would you say is your most disappointing?
Well, I was going to say I agree with Pepper with Williams not being higher up. Yes, they've scored points earlier in the season, but you think they'll make a step forward, especially with the new regulations. Weirdly, Aston Martin have disappointed me as well because, fair enough, the 2021 season versus 2020 wasn't brilliant, but they've gone so far backwards, and you think with the amount of money they can actually pump into that team, you think they would have developed a good car as well. Obviously, you've got Lance Stroll being Lance Stroll. Enough said about him. Vettel, to me, he's trying to drag the most out of a bad car, but you can only do so much.
Yeah.
So I can fully understand why he's retired as well. He's pretty much had enough of F1.
Right. So Aston Martin.
And you've also got the Ferrari clown show. Best car on the grid, ruined it by strategy mistakes and just general infighting.
So Aston Martin's your most disappointing team this season, then?
Based on the fact that they should be higher up.
Okay.
And they haven't done anything with that car.
Alright. Sid, what's your most disappointing team?
Well, Pepper said Williams, but I didn't expect much from Williams. They kind of did what I expected. And Aston Martin, they don't know what swimming in money is like properly yet. Let them swim a bit more in debt. So I guess I can kind of understand that. I've been very disappointed with McLaren. I've been very, very disappointed with what they've done. Because with Ferrari, You know, as soon as FP1 rolled around in Bahrain and you heard that engineer, you knew what was coming at this team and the strategies that were about to happen. We all knew this was coming. We're just mocking them because now they're actually doing it. McLaren just popped up with the worst race in Bahrain possible, and it hasn't looked up since. And I think that team has poured so much into the car, the best facilities, probably matching Ferrari, and have produced that. So for me, it's McLaren.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sid. I do want to slightly disagree with that, because McLaren do have. Yeah, it's not the best car on the grid. Fair enough. I completely agree with that, but I do think Ricciardo is just not performing. And if they had a second driver who was performing, I think they could easily be fighting for fourth.
If you double their points, that takes them up to 200. That still puts them a long way off Mercedes. That puts them 100 points off Mercedes. My expectation was they should be matching a third place team in the constructors. So if you duplicate Lando Norris, you still don't fix your issue.
It still gets them a hell of a lot closer, but I just don't think Ricciardo's performing. I think the car performance is there when Lando drives it, yeah. And if they had a similar caliber driver, which you expect Ricciardo to be.
Yeah.
But he's just not doing anything with them. If the car is being developed for Lando, then yeah, disregard what I've just said.
If you add Lewis Hamilton into the Williams, that Williams is a whole lot closer to the field, ain't it?
I mean, you say that, yeah, he was shocking in the Mercedes at the start of the season, so I don't know about that.
Anyways, Matt, your turn. We don't have a lot of time.
Most disappointing team, yeah. I was trying to do it simple, one-worded answers, but we've all gone to a pure description into why we picked that certain team. But because I'm conscious of time, because I wanted to go through disappointing and most
pepper problem.
Anyway, right, most disappointing team. I was going to go with McLaren as well. With all the promise and hope from last season, you think they're going to build upon it. They're going to be in a similar position to Ferrari, and it's just gone all just not to plan. Ricciardo, I hoped a bit more from him this season. Not happened. Norris driving the wheels off that car. What more can you do? But most disappointing team is McLaren.
I mean, they were similar to Ferrari, just the 2021, not the 2022. But yeah, I mean, obviously, we still have half a season to go. There's a lot of seats to be decided for next season, so that should be interesting to see. Hopefully, they won't be announced all on Friday when this comes out. But if they do, well, don't blame us. We'll probably do another podcast to round up the season eventually when it happens. But yeah, so far it's been a funny, silly season. That's all I'm going to say.
Do we want to do our best teams that we thought did well? Quick.
One-worded answers, go.
I go Alpine next.
I can agree with Alpine.
Okay, Lee.
I have to agree, Alpine.
Okay, Matt.
Alfa Romeo.
We can agree to disagree on that one.
I would have said second choice Haas, but yeah, that's only because they literally have the worst car on the grid.
My second choice is Red Bull. There you go.
Yeah. To be fair, it's
Red Bull, yeah.
You can't go wrong with Red Bull, sadly.
Apart from the drink.
Oh yeah, definitely Monster is a better one. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up here because we've been dragging along a little bit here. We hope you have enjoyed. Let us know what your thoughts are on the silly season so far and what's happened so far in this F1 season. Are Ferrari the biggest clowns so far? We're probably going to say yes, but let us know if you agree. And where is Piastri going, if he really is going to McLaren, and who's getting that Alpine seat? No one knows. But I guess we'll find out in a pair of weeks. at least when Belgium comes around, we should have some news about something. We always do. So, thank you so much for watching the PlebPod here on YouTube, if that's the case. If not, and you're listening along on the platforms like Spotify, Sid's Finger, and some other places like that, make sure to check out our YouTube channel, the Plebels, for other gaming content. There's a lot of fingers going up. We've been the Plebs, and we'll see you next time on the next video. Bye-bye.